To begin with, I'm Akshita Sawan, Senior Developer Advocate at Salesforce. I'm based in London. I'm going to be the developer advocate, the moderator for the session today. And it's going to be a fun session. We are going to have definitely, we're going to have lots of questions, but we'll start with some introductions, with some theoretical concepts as well. And as you guys know, today we're going to have a special guest with us. So let me bring up a guest, Corey, who's from the product team. Give me a minute. And yes. Hey, hi, Corey.
Hey everyone,
Hello.
excited to meet you
How are
all.
you doing?
Doing really good, thank you. How are you?
Great. So I guess we can get started.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. Really excited to speak to you all today. Like Akshata said, my name is Corey Anderson. I'm a product manager on the Agentforce team.
Mhm.
I worked primarily on Agentforce ease of setup, so that touches a few different areas that we'll talk about today. Um, And yeah, really excited coming out of TDX earlier just a few weeks ago. Tons of great conversations with developers like yourself. So excited to speak a bit more, hear your feedback, and answer some of your questions.
Amazing. I think with that, we can get started. Let me, yeah. So here is a forward-looking statement which states that make sure you make your purchasing decision based on the products that are available today, because definitely we're going to come up with a lot of questions around products and future roadmaps today. So just making sure. And with that, we can move ahead. So if you haven't done already, please make sure you join the Salesforce developer community. This is the go to place where you can find all the resources, links, and we are actively monitoring the channel as well. So if you haven't joined already, please do sign up for the latest updates. Going ahead, we have already done the introduction. I'm Akshita. We are joined by Corey, and yes, welcome again to the session. And let's get started. Over to you, Corey.
Wonderful, thank you.
Cool.
All right, everyone. This may be kind of review for some of you, new for others, so I'll go quick through some of these slides. The purpose of today is really to show you the product, give you a demo of how it works. I know that that's kind of the most powerful thing that we're all looking for. Really briefly, as we all know, AI is kind of shifting how companies work, putting us more in a exponential real-time results where agents are first and companies need to unify their data, decide on which surface they want to push that agent, and kind of decide how they want to build their agent and what makes it easy to use both for them internally and externally, right? So our work dynamic is shifting, and with that, how we build new products is shifting, right? It's much more non-deterministic. The AI can think for itself, whereas we're used to flows in Apex that are very rigid. So we understand that it's hard to build, it's different, it's a new muscle, and so we're doing everything we can to help you through that process. Now, what makes Agentforce sort of special and why Salesforce believes that we play a really important role in this industry is really the platform that Agentforce exists on, right? So first, we've taken all of what we know about agents, our AI researchers internally, and what we've learned from our customers already, and we've pre-built kind of skills, templates, flows, Apex, all sorts of stuff that you can use with your agent on day one with the intention of helping you get ready quicker. You can reuse all of your flows, your Apex, your prompt templates, and add them to your agent as actions. So if you're an existing Salesforce customer, there's no need to rebuild a lot of those automations. Obviously, Data Cloud is going to play an important role here, whether you're a Salesforce customer and you want to use RAG to pull some of that data, you use Salesforce broadly, or if you hold your data somewhere else, being able to bring that data into your Agentforce instance through Data Cloud is very important. And then finally, our Atlas reasoning engine. That's the engine that you'll see when I give you this demo here soon. That's determining between all these different topics that your agent could work with, what to do at runtime. So we believe it's a very important kind of platform that we're building Agentforce on. So I'm just going to give you an intro to like the three products we're going to talk about today, then we'll jump into the demo. The first is what we're calling AI Assist. We understand that building an agent can be complex. You don't know where to go, you don't know where to start. And so we're almost giving you an AI to help you build your AI. This AI assist is infused with all of our best practices, everything we know about how to build a great agent. And so that means as you build topics, instructions, an agent, we can help you fill out all of the text and all the metadata to create a great agent. But also, as you're trying to improve that agent to take it live to your customers, we can review all of your configuration and say, this all looks good, but if you change these 3 or 4 things, your agent's really going to increase its accuracy. So this is essentially our way of being with you every step of the way, and kind of providing you that helping hand. With that, there's some kind of features that are coming out here soon where we'll be able to use AI Assist as well to tell you real time how well your agent is adhering to those policies. Like I said, agents are not deterministic. They can think for themselves. And so obviously we want to provide you guardrails so that you can determine, okay, when customers say this, the agent doesn't do what I want it to. And so AI Assist will detect that and provide you suggestions to say, if you change these 3 or 4 things, we think it's going to adhere a lot better to your policies. So obviously agents are a long game and it takes time to perfect them. The next product I'll show you is the agent setup checklist. Like I said, where do I start? What do I do? It's all very complex. And every kind of instance is different. Every one of you on this call is going to build an agent that does a different thing on a different channel. And so we want to provide you with a checklist that provides you our best practices, the steps that we think that you should take to be successful so you don't miss anything. And we're doing it all in Agent Builder so that you're not having to jump around 50 screens to try to figure out what to do with your agent. There's some improvements coming here. The checklist will be much more dynamic. It'll understand what you've already done in your org and what remains to be done. And then with like that orange help text you're seeing on the screen, provide you recommendations on kind of those next sub-steps to get to a better agent. And with that, you'll really be able to set up your agent much quicker and avoid running into bugs. The last product that I'm going to show you today in this demo is the Agent Testing Center. So you've built your agent. You think, okay, it may be ready to start providing to customers. So we're going to use AI Assist in what we're calling Testing Center to provide you feedback on how that agent is working, right? You can see kind of in this flywheel that what we're doing is we're creating generative tests to run against your agent. We're evaluating them, and then we're bringing you into the loop and allowing you to give us feedback, all to provide suggestions on where to improve your agent. And this will make a lot more sense when we actually show it to you in this demo. But it's a lot lower lift than you think because we're using AI to test your AI, right? And then bringing you in the loop. So I will, with that, just give a quick kind of overview of what is it, and then let's jump into the demo. As you can see here, Testing Center is able to generate for you test cases based on your criteria. So you can say, hey, I have this topic, it checks order statuses, create test cases for that. And it'll print 100 utterances of something a customer could say to ask for an order status. It'll run all those in parallel. It'll have all of your topics and actions in your agent, right? The kind of contact drivers as well as the automation behind them. And it'll pick which ones it thinks is right. You'll define that as well. So it'll say, hey, when customers say this, we're picking the wrong action. Here's what we think you should do. Add an instruction, enhance the description. And that way, you're not waiting for the real-time customers to test your product to know if it's working well or not. You can use Testing Center to have a lot more confidence before you go out and ship that product. All right, that's everything slides I wanted to show you today. I think getting into the demo is really where we're going to see how a lot of this stuff works. So with that, I'm going to switch over to a different screen here. Akshat, I may need your help to present that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I just started sharing. If you can bring that up.
Uh,
Wonderful. All right. Some of you are already pretty familiar with it. Some of you may not be. This is our Agent Studio in Salesforce Setup. So to navigate to that, we just type agents into our quick find box, and it'll be right there for us. So what I'm going to do first here is create a new agent using what we're calling AI Assist, right? So we'll click our button here. We'll create a new agent. And you see here we have some of these pre-built templates. Like I said, for your service agent, if you're in the commerce, if you want to build a sales development representative, we have pre-built templates to help you do that. But let's say I don't really know where I want to get started. I'd rather just kind of tell you what I want and have you build the agent for me. So when I click on this, it asks me, what do you want your agent to do, right? Pretty simple question. And I am going to say that I would like, I don't know how many of you guys are fans of the show Severance, but I am a diehard fan. So I would love my agent to answer questions related to the Apple TV show Severance. What is being severed? What are the pros and cons? Also, if people want to buy merchandise, maybe help them create an order, get the order status, or cancel one of their orders, right? Okay, so now Agentforce knows what my agent wants to do. I click next. As you can see, it fills out what is the name. This role it creates entirely for me. It says, hey, you're going to answer questions related to severance. This is passed to the LLM every time it answers a question so that it understands its purpose. My company name is going to be Lumen. That'll make sense if you've seen the show. And then I'll give a quick description of, what is my company? We're a biotechnology company, and we're known for the severance process. Wonderful. Agent user, I'll click new user here. That basically an agent user is, if you're familiar with Salesforce, users have permissions, right? It's pretty standard industry practice. Your agent also needs a user, and you can assign permission sets to that user. This is a wonderful security guardrail so that, if your agent user doesn't have access to update the object opportunity or case, then it's not going to be able to do that. And so you don't have to worry about your agent running around Salesforce changing data that you haven't given it permission to do that. Okay, I'm also going to enrich event logs. This requires data cloud. Basically, it just means that every conversation that this agent has with the customer, the entire conversation is going to be stored for me to review later. All right. So AI helped me create some of the description and metadata. It also is helping me create all of my topics, actually. So it's saying, here are the things based on what you told me that you're going to want your agent to do, right? So what is the severance process, the pros and cons, ordering pamphlets, order status, and cancel. So it's everything that I asked it to do. It's built it out. It's given me a description. This is wonderful because when someone asks a question, all of this data is going to be passed to the LLM so it determines what action to take. I can also edit that right here if I want to do that before I create the agent. Great. I can add a data library. This is so that the agent has context. It's based on Salesforce knowledge. You can also upload PDFs if you're not a user of Salesforce knowledge. I personally am, so I'll just click, I want it to use all my public knowledge articles. That way it kind of knows everything that's on my help site, everything that I would give to my service representatives, it has as well. Okay. Now let's move into the actual agent builder. So once we're in the agent builder, I want to show you guys how AI Assist can actually help you create a topic. So let's say once I land here in the agent builder, I really want to build a topic that kind of helps me identify and report people who are anti-Lumen or don't like what the Lumen company is doing with severance. All right, so you can see here I have all my topics. Great. I want to build a new topic. Okay, so I'll click new topic. And again, instead of giving me tons of text boxes and everything, it just says, what do you want this topic to do? What's the purpose, right? So I'll say it's for reporting anti-Lumen sentiment. If people in the town say that they don't like severance, we'd like to know so we can handle that. Great. Next, and then again, AI is going to help me build the entire topic. So what would have taken me maybe half an hour, and not knowing the Agentforce best practices, I probably wouldn't have made the best topic. I did in 1 minute. It gives it a description, its scope, what is it meant to do, and instructions to guide it as it works through handling a customer. Things as detailed as if the user provides vague information, ask for more clarifying questions. Always record the details of negative sentiments, including the context, right? So you can really hone this in to have the agent work exactly how you want it to. Additionally, if I didn't like one of these, I could click this instruction button and get a bit more kind of feedback on that. I can now go add actions to that topic, right? So the topic is the high-level contact driver. Actions are what I actually want it to do. If I had actions in here, maybe a form, like a screen flow or something like that, I could add it in. But as you can see, I have my flows, I have my Apex. I don't have an action built yet, so I'll just finish this topic and come back to it later. All right. So that's kind of how AI Assist helps you build a new topic. Second part of the demo here I want to show you is how does AI Assist help me refine my current topics? Maybe you're already pretty deep into your kind of Agentforce implementation. how do I get it to help me? Ashwani, I saw your comment about zoom in being required for unified knowledge. That is true. Come June, the Service Cloud team has some great updates about unified knowledge being all in Salesforce, but I'll default to them to answer more about that. Okay, so let's go into this customer care agent. We'll open it in Builder. Okay, here, loud and clear. The text is small. Hopefully that's a bit better. Okay. Okay, I want to improve one of these topics, right? So I have an appointment booking topic. This customer service agent is like for like a vehicle maintenance center, an auto center, and people want to schedule appointments. Okay, so within this, I have maybe a instruction in here about getting the customer's email. Let's see, this is appointment booking. Yeah, we'll do this one, that works. Okay, so within appointment booking, let's say I have an instruction that's like, get customer email. That's pretty vague. The LLM is gonna have a hard time knowing what to do with that instruction, but maybe I'm new to Agentforce and I didn't know what to write. So I click this, and again, the LLM is gonna compare against all of our best practices, how to word this instruction. It says, if the user requests to book an appointment, ask for their email to send a meeting request. Amazing. That's perfect. I love that. I can accept the updates and it immediately adds it here for me. We try to keep them short instead of like a bunch of branching within one instruction. Okay, great. I'll save that. That works how I want it to. Okay. Now you've seen how I do that. Now maybe let's try testing it, right? So I want to book an appointment. So we're testing it real time over here in this conversation preview as if I were a customer. And in this middle window, that's where we're going to get all of the debugging, right? So we see, sure, I can help you with that. Please provide your email. So just as we asked it to, it's providing that email or it's asking you to provide that email. Maybe I want email, but I also want the car make and model. Maybe my auto shop specializes in certain types of cars. So I could say, actually, I want it to do a bit more. So what's incorrect about the agent response? Maybe I'll say, it asked for my email, but I also want it to ask about my car make and model, right? And then I'll just paste in like kind of what is my desired response here? What do I want the LLM to do? I'll submit that. And super quickly, AI Assist is able to take all that and say, here's what you should change about your topic if that's really what you want it to do, right? So it says modify the instruction and ask it to not only ask for the email, but also the make and model. Also change the kind of description of your topic so that we understand a bit better what it's trying to do. Amazing, I can go make all of those improvements and my topic is getting better and better and doing exactly what I want it to be doing. All right, last part of this demo, then I really want to start answering some of your questions. Before I move over into Testing Center, I mentioned the setup checklist. Super easy, right within Builder, you get a step-by-step of like, what items should you be doing? We looked at earlier that kind of step-by-step setup process where I was providing text, creating topics, my data library. You can't do everything from there. We want to get you into the Builder quickly. So this is all the items that you should be doing after the fact to get set up with Agentforce. We provide you some best practices and also links out. So if I click any of these links, it'll send me where in Salesforce I can complete that action. Like I said, some great enhancements coming here to make this a lot easier to use. All right, Testing Center. This worked well on one test case, but I'm wondering if 100 customers asked or even up to 1,000, how would that look? So I'll click Batch Test here. Switch over into my other window. And it brings me directly into Testing Center. It pre-populates which agent we're talking about. Great. So test name, I'll just say appointments. The description, let's say like test customer utterances, or we'll just even say like booking appointments for car services. Great. You could upload a PDF of a bunch of test cases, maybe because you already have customer service reps talking to customers, you have a ton of data. Instead, I'm just going to generate it. I'll leave my test cases to about 20. It takes 5 seconds or less per test case. Describe the test cases and provide some examples. For time purposes, I kind of have a description pre-written here. Let's say, scheduling service appointments. Here's some example utterances. I only want to test the appointment booking topic. That's what I want it to use. So now I can click generate test cases. Okay. And now it's generating all the what are the user utterances that could be said, and then it's running them through that kind of testing window that I just showed you right here, and it's running an LLM on every single one of those test utterances, and then determining, did I pick the right topic? Did I pick the right action? What could have been different for me to pick the right things, right? So I'll refresh to get the results here. It's still in progress. There was 20 utterances. That's everything I wanted to present to you today. Kind of as we get through Q&A, I'll show you what the results here look like. Hopefully that was helpful. I'm happy to take questions on any one part of that demo, or if you have kind of somewhat related questions, I'm happy to do that too. So thank you so much for listening. Really excited to hear more about what you think.
Hey, thank you so much. That was an interesting one. And we surely have a lot of questions out there. So I'll just bring them up one by one and we can take them. I personally have a lot of questions as well. So thanks for the demo. It was really good. So the first one is AI Assist accessible through VS Code only or mainly via Salesforce UI? That's from Sally from YouTube.
Yeah, good question. Definitely obviously available through Salesforce's UI.
Mhm.
I want to say that's the only surface currently. I will ping the person who owns that and ask them that as well. But I want to say currently just through the UI. I'll come back to an answer to that in the next 5 minutes as I get one.
Amazing. Thank you. We have the next question, and that's kind of similar as well. Agent Builder is only available in UI. That's from Amala. And I guess
So
it's
the builder itself, like the kind of clickable version, is only available in Salesforce's UI, but there is plenty of kind of agent builder functionality that is available outside of Salesforce UI. And by the way, I did confirm AI Assist is UI only available currently. Agent Builder does have some great capabilities through the Salesforce CLI, and so we can get a help link. Possibly, I'll have someone look for that. But yes, there is plenty of agent builder functionality around creating your agent and configuring it, and the instructions, the topics, the actions that you can do through VS Code and other platforms.
wow, that sounds great. The next one, what is the maximum test cases that can be created? What are the maximum test cases?
Yeah, so in a single run, you can do 1,000 test cases. Like I said, on average, each test case takes about 5 seconds. The LLM has to do some processing on it, but it's 1,000 per run. So you could do multiple tests, but in a single run, 1,000.
That's good to know. The next one is from San, and they mentioned that I don't see Agentforce SDR as template in Agentforce developer. Do we need any permissions to enable the SDR template?
Yeah, great question. So this SDR template or like agent type is available once you specifically enable that in setup. So if you wouldn't mind sharing my screen again, actually, I can
Yeah,
show you exactly a
sure.
couple things.
Is it the demo one?
Yeah, there you go. So here I have Agentforce SDR setup. We're converging all of our setup into a much more unified experience. Come June, that'll be much easier. We really just wanted to get agents out to you all as quick as possible. So I realized that each agent is a bit different. If I want to enable SDR and I want to see that in that setup experience, I need to enable all these permissions first, or all these org preferences, right? Automated actions, sales engagement. Once I enable this, I'll be able to then make sure that my personal user has the correct like permissions to access the SDR functionality, and then you will see it in the wizard. So this is the first step. Like I said, come June, we'll make sure that it's much easier to find all those things.
Okay, and this could be something to do with licenses as well.
Yeah, you definitely do need some licenses. Speak to your AE about which licenses specifically you need. If the Agentforce SDR page in your setup is not showing up, the first thing to check would be, do you have Einstein Generative AI on, which is just by searching Einstein in setup. If you still aren't seeing the SDR, it's probably a licensing issue. So I would speak to your AE about that.
The next one is from Ian. He's asking like, why is it creating multiple instruction fields when the Salesforce best practice is to create only one field?
Uh, Sorry, why are there multiple instruction fields?
Multiple instruction fields to
Gotcha.
give more. Yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of as a clarification on that last one, it could also be add-on licenses.
Yeah.
So maybe talk about that with your AE and your admin as well. Okay, so why are there multiple instruction fields? The best practice for Agentforce is kind of somewhere in the realm of like 5 to 15 instructions on a topic. There's no perfect answer. The reason that there's probably many reasons that there's multiple instruction fields, but the biggest one is like when the LLM takes in all of that data, and you can kind of share my screen again, Akshat, if you wouldn't mind. You can see that it took in it's showing the API name for the appointment. It took in the kind of description of it, and then the actions that are on it, and the instructions. By having multiple instructions, the LLM can better determine like the order in which you want to do things. So the instructions themselves aren't ordered, but if each instruction includes a bit of like a if this then that, and then another one is a if this then that, it allows you to branch much better. Whereas if you have one instruction that is like if this then that, but also this then that, then it becomes a bit confusing for the LLM to know what items are related. So it's better for it to chunk it out into individual instructions. We've tested it both ways, and we do get a lot better results in this way.
Yeah, that makes more sense as well. Uh, Coming on to the next one, when you only have one instruction field with all that instructions, and how will it suggest instruction work? How will the suggest instruction work? So that's from Ian as well.
Gotcha. So I have one field and it has tons of instructions. How does that look?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. Uh, so let's see. Let's say I have this one and then this one, and then like also,
Hmm.
please do not talk about purchasing parts with customers. And I would say like also create cases if customers are unhappy. Let's see. Get the AI suggestion.
Yeah.
Great. So it's like you provided it clear. However, it's important to avoid overlapping instructions. Each instruction should be distinct and non-redundant.
Hmm.
So basically, it's telling us, hey, you've crammed a lot in there. So we are making improvements to our prompts that run behind these instruction, like AI assist suggestions. And one of the ones that we're actually making right now is when this happens, instead of just telling you, hey, you've kind of created a lot in one, we should really be having you we should provide you the suggestions. Like here are individual instructions that we recommend. So we are working on that, but like you see, it does recognize that and say, hey, you've put a lot here in one instruction.
Yeah. That's good that we can also see it side by side in the demo kind of format.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Ian, for asking the questions. So going on to the next one that's coming in from Amala, like how many test cases can be loaded from a CSV file?
That's a great question. I'm actually not sure on that one. How many test cases can be uploaded in one CSV file? I have an FAQ doc that I can take a look at, and I'll just kind of skim through that real quick. Yeah. So okay. So I think here's the answer. A testing center test can include 1,000 rows, and
Okay.
so I would believe that applies to both generative AI as well as CSV. The limit is 1,000 rows in a test case, and I don't see a differentiation between generative versus CSV.
Cool. Thank you. And the next one is coming from Thomas. He asked that, can you show us a review process of monitoring the interaction with the agent? Is it possible via demo?
Yeah, so like the agent is interacting with a customer, and like how do I oversee that interaction, you're saying?
Yes. How do you review the process of monitoring the interaction with an agent?
Yeah, really, really great question. The demo org I'm currently using doesn't have that functionality, so I won't be able to do it today. But there definitely are like videos from Salesforce on YouTube that show this. So I'd recommend kind of looking into that, as well as like speak to your AE. There's a few things that I'd mention here. The first is from the service console, you can monitor, like if you're a service manager, you can monitor how an agent is running. Um, but Agentforce is building out its own kind of real-time analytics platform, which is in pilot currently. And this like interaction explorer, as we're calling it, will allow you to very easily see across all of your different agents that are active interacting with customers. Not only what are they doing real time, but then feedback on how should you be improving this, and what mistakes seem to be coming up more often than not. So that is in pilot right now, and you should be expecting that later this year. I would talk to your AE if you're interested. Maybe they can work out a way to get you into the pilot or kind of
Yeah,
get you on board as quick as possible.
that would be really nice. And thanks for the question, Thomas. The next one is how do we allow an agent to, accessible on sales or service app page? I have an out of box agent built in with Salesforce developer environment, and I can convert with it on Data Cloud app through an agent icon, but not with other apps. That's from Sam. Did you get the question, or maybe should I repeat
Uh,
it?
I think I got a bit confused by what the question's asking.
Yeah, I think it was a big one, long one. So, how do we allow an agent to agent accessible on Salesforce or a service page, service app page? I have an out-of-box agent built on a developer environment, and I can converse with it with Data Cloud apps through top agent icon, but not on other apps.
Okay, so you have an agent in your developer environment.
I think uh, what I think is this could be also related to permissions and access issues as well.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
likely. So that agent has access to Data Cloud, you're saying,
Yeah.
but not other apps like maybe
Mm.
Service Cloud. Sounds like there's maybe two issues. The first is your agent doesn't have access to data
Access.
outside of Data Cloud. That'll be on that agent user. So if you come in, if you want to show my screen again here, and you come into your agent builder,
Mm-hmm.
you should be able to, actually, if you wouldn't mind sharing my screen, I'll just show real quick how to find the agent user. Um, if you click on the settings when you're in Agent Builder, you'll see here the user associated with your agent. You can change that user at any time. It may not have the access that you're hoping it does. My recommendation is to just make it a new user. Like I said in that kind of setup flow, if you click new user, we preload it with all of the permissions related to that template that you should be using. The second part of that is like it's not available in the service console.
Service.
I'm not as familiar with that issue. It's probably related to user permissions, whether on you or on the agent. Yeah, maybe speak with your account team. They can provide more feedback and get you some help.
Cool. Thanks. That actually helps. Um, the next one is from John Isaac, and he's asking, can we modify the custom metadata or custom settings data using agent prompts or instructions?
Yeah, the custom settings data, I'm not sure what that's referring to.
Custom metadata or custom.
Can we modify the custom metadata using Salesforce prompts?
I think we have some help from Rajesh as well, who's supporting us offline. So he says that if you're looking into actual, like updating the actual metadata, then instructions do not help. You need to have an Apex or a flow actions to manually update the record. So agent
Gotcha.
action help
Okay.
is needed.
Yeah, I was when we were talking about custom metadata, I was thinking on the agent level. If you're looking, yeah, to like to update data in your Salesforce instance. So for example, like I want an agent to take a customer's case and change the status of it or post to the case or something. Um, Instructions are like non-deterministic, as they're called, like instructions for your agent. So it's like what order to do things, and when you hear this, think about doing that. The actions are actually the deterministic piece that are underlined with flow, apex, prompt, and other kind of automations. And the reason we do that is we want you to have a lot more control over how your data is being changed in Salesforce. So two things there. One, like build a flow that looks to the case and updates it, something like that. And then add an instruction which says, if a customer asks us to update their case, use this action. That'd be the first thing. Second thing is we have a lot of security guardrails in here, again, for a reason. So when you do that, you need to make sure that your agent user has access to case and the other objects that you're referring to so that it it literally has access to update those objects. Did we lose Akshata? Okay, while we're waiting for her to come back here, I can answer a few more questions. I know there are some here in the chat, so maybe I'll just go look at a couple of these. Ian Gotts asked, can you show the details of the topics that were created by AI Assist, instructions and actions? Our experience is that it always creates 5 topics. Yeah, sure thing. I can't show you my screen, but what I can say is there may be a kind of recommendation in the prompt that underlies it to create 5 topics. If that's not an optimal experience, I'd love to kind of hear more on what you like. I'm happy to kind of look at making some edits there. It currently doesn't create actions. It only creates the topic in the instruction, but what we're calling action stubbing is coming out here fairly soon. It's something that we're actively working on as a team. And so when that gets created, we will create, topics such as like appointment booking, actions like scheduling an appointment, canceling an appointment. And then each of those actions, we won't tie inherently to a flow or to an apex. We'll leave you to do that. And you'll be able to choose which one you want to tie it to, or come back later once you've built that flow and be able to tie it back. But that's currently not functionality that we support. Okay, another item that I can chat about as we wait for Akshat, that I've had some kind of questions that I wanted to cover, as ones that we get very, very often. People often ask with like Testing Center, does it make changes to my agent automatically? I realize that for a lot of you, it's like, I want to get the suggestions, but if you're going out making changes on my agent and I'm not aware of it, that's very scary. So we really want like AI to help us, but not like do it all for us. And so the answer there is we provide suggestions only. You get to choose what to do with them. We're really just providing you the data. As AI Assist gets better, we'll be able to read through that Testing Center report and say, here are the top 5 things that we think you should be changing about your agent. But Salesforce's like mentality on all of Agentforce is human in the loop, and so we really want you to be able to have a decision before the agent does anything for you. And as we enable our agents that are helping you to have a bit more autonomy, we'll always make sure that before they take an action, they're asking you, would you rather me take this action, or you be able to kind of take it for yourself based on my suggestion. Ian, coming back to your question, it looks like it does add actions. Great. I'm happy to hear that we're moving at a faster pace than I was aware of. I'm kind of just tangentially related to this team. So if we are creating actions right now, the kind of action stubbing work that's coming out will just further refine that. Again, I can't share my screen right now to kind of show you what we do have, but more coming out there. Okay. So let's keep going through some questions here. Another question that we get very common is, does the setup checklist have to be completed in order? The answer is no. The reason we don't hide steps from you is we kind of want you to just do what makes sense for you at that time. Some of those steps may not apply to you. We have a Testing Center step in there. We have an analytics step in there. Maybe those things don't interest you as much. So it doesn't have to be completed in order. Like I said, the more advanced version of the checklist coming out within the next month does have like automated checkboxes and help text that updates based on your org's metadata, so that we can provide you real-time progress kind of indicators and help. But if you want to ignore any of those steps because it doesn't make sense for your instance, that's also totally fine. I see a question, can we run tests from the Salesforce CLI? The Testing Center, I believe, is set up to work outside the Salesforce platform. Rajesh, you can confirm with me over Slack if that's true or not, but I'm fairly confident that Testing Center can be used outside of the Salesforce UI. The thing I would recommend here is if you look at the Salesforce admin's YouTube channel, it has all the videos from TDX, and there is a video from the PM that runs Testing Center, that where he goes through in-depth examples of how to use it, and I would recommend watching that. It's very, very helpful. Rajesh did confirm, yes, the Testing Center API is coming soon. So very soon you'll be able to run tests outside of the Salesforce UI. All right, let's keep cranking through some of these questions. Is AI Assist available in both sandbox and production? Yes, we don't have a gate depending on which org that is available. We do recommend that you we now have agent versioning in production and sandbox, so you no longer have to move environments every small change you want to make. You can always create a new version and wait to activate that and deactivate your old version until you feel like it's ready. So that's a really big improvement, so that you're not having to run across environments as much. But yes, AI Assist is available in both. Sam has a question: how agents respect user permissions when agents run without its own user and permissions? So agents do have a user. The agent, you are not allowed to create an agent without a user, and it will not function without one. So that user that you assign to it will have permissions baked into it. Obviously, it's important for it to be able to run flows, prompt templates, and Apex, but then also the objects that you're looking to modify, whether it's create, read, update, or delete those objects. And you'll see if you try and test in Agent Builder, that UI I was showing you, if you try running an action where you don't have the agent user, right? Not you, but the user assigned to that agent doesn't have permission to run that action, it will fail. And the team that works on Agent Builder is making enhancements to very explicitly tell you why that failed and which permissions are missing and which objects and all of that. So excited for that to make everything a bit easier for you. But yeah, if the agent user does not have permission to an object, it will not be able to run that action, which was a very intentional decision by us to prevent the agents from doing things that you guys don't want them to. All right, another question: does AI Assist ground itself on the metadata behind a topic or behind an agent? So the other topics that exist, the other actions that exist, right? I don't want you creating new topics for me and new actions that are redundant over my current ones. The answer is yes. We always, every time we give you suggestions, we're grounding ourselves on what already exists within this agent. We're not looking at other agents in your org, but this agent specifically. And so if you have an appointment booking topic and you ask us to create another one, we'll do our best to try to differentiate and say, hey, you already have that topic actually. If you try to create an instruction and there's already an instruction in that topic that does that same thing, we'll tell you, hey, redundant instructions aren't great for agents, and we recommend that you just keep it to one instruction if it's kind of going for the same thing. Ian asked, in the latest release, the instruction field is limited to 2,000 characters. I'm not totally sure why on there's that number. What I can say is, like I said before, we really want you to chunk out instructions into more individual items. I realize that there are scenarios where it makes sense to have longer ones, and I'm sorry if that's affecting you. But for the most part, it's great to have smaller instructions that are more digestible by the LLM, and for each instruction to contain one, maximum 2 branches instead of a if this, then that, then that, then that. And so that's probably the reason that it's limited, is as a best practice, we want you to separate a very large instruction into multiple. That's probably the best answer I can provide you there. With regards to multiple instructions, this is from Tobias. Can I refer to one instruction from another? You totally can. There's probably many use cases where that could be important. What I would highlight here is that, for example, if I have one instruction that's if customer asks to reschedule their appointment, first ask for what day and time, right? The action for reschedule appointment will then take in that conversation thread and will be able to take in that data and know what kind of time you want. But then you could have a second instruction that's if the customer requests a day and time that is in mountain time, we operate in Pacific time, so convert to Pacific time or something. With business logic, you really want to keep that in the action itself. So if it was something if the day is 30 days out, then you should ask the customer to do a different time. More deterministic items is really the cutoff. If it's deterministic, you really should be putting it in the action, like a flow or an Apex. It's a bit more deterministic, but you can definitely refer to instructions one to another. Hi, Shelta.
Hi, I'm sorry I lost my connection and my computer froze. So everything is happening today, and that's for a
That's all
good.
right. We made it by.
So yeah, I know. So which I'm sorry I missed it. Which question we were on?
Yeah. So I've been answering some questions that kind of I get often, and then I just answered Tobias's question from 9:29 a.m. Pacific time, and a couple of Ian's above.
Okay, cool. Thanks for keeping this up. I think I can just pop up the next questions for you.
That'd be great.
Great. So there's a question from San that, and she asked like, can you show us how we publish an agent to users to use it? I see building agents everywhere, but it's not finding docs. How do we publish them to end users?
Yeah, great
And
question.
that's true. Yeah.
Wonderful. Let's share my screen again. Okay, so the setup checklist is going to give you some context on how to do that.
Give me a minute. Let me share your
Yeah, yeah,
screen.
that's fine. So when we say publish to end users, uh, I'm going to assume that you mean um, like like on a messaging platform, on Messenger, on SMS, right? Um,
Yes.
And so in our setup checklist, we do kind of say all of the preliminary, what you should be doing, and then, hey, it's time to configure your channels. Here are some step-by-steps of what you want to do. The high level here is like first determine where you want it to interact. That could be inside Salesforce, formerly known as Copilot, but like the Agentforce chat window within Salesforce. That could be within Slack to your employees. If you're using a service agent, that's probably like messaging in-app or web, maybe like SMS, Messenger, different items like that. Once you've determined that, it really is like the same implementation that you would do for a bot or for any other user, but instead we're going to pick an agent, right? So if you've created a messaging channel before, you're probably used to using OmniFlows for routing to that channel.
Mhm.
If you're using a service agent, now instead of selecting an Omni queue or skill or direct routing, you're going to select agent for service agent, and then you'll be able to select your agent directly within that Omni flow. And so uh, there are some videos on Salesforce admin for like how to deploy your agent. But the biggest kind of high levels, and again, our next checklist is going to make this so much simpler, is activate your agent so that it's available to that channel, create the omni routing, create the like messaging channel, connect that flow, and then you'll be good to go. This connections tab, once you've done that, once you've created that omni flow, you've activated it, you've connected it to a messaging channel, you'll see that omni flow in here. Um, and then you'll just have to use embedded service deployment, and that's mentioned in the checklist to create that kind of UI chat that you can put on your website. I know the website like messaging web is just one use case, but it's a fairly common one that we have for Agentforce. And then yeah, if you want your agent to be able to escalate to humans, then you'll use this section right here, and you'll create a flow that takes it from the agent and takes it to a queue or a skill or something like that, just like you would do with any other escalation flow.
Cool. That actually helps. I actually have one question. Like, does AI assist consider best practices while it's like working on?
Yeah, yeah, it does. So there's like a few answers to this question. The main one is the prompts that underlie AI Assist, right? When you ask for a suggestion, when you ask us to create an agent, we're taking in the metadata you've provided. We're running it through a prompt that our team has created internally, which includes, what is a topic, what is an action, what is an instruction recommended from Salesforce,
Mhm.
and then like based on what we're learning from customers in the field, we're updating those prompts to make them more and more accurate and make you better agents. So it definitely includes all the best practices that we as a company understand.
Mhm.
Um, but like your org best, and so if it recommends something to you that you're like, I get why it says that, but for my org that it makes more sense to do this. Like understand that this AI assist feature is like a new feature we've just released, and we also don't want it to like consume a ton of your Einstein requests, and so we're trying to keep that prompt somewhat low maintenance, and so make the decision that works best for your org. AI Assist is there to kind of help you as much as it can.
Yeah, that actually sounds good. Thanks for that. The next one is from Bhuvanesh, and he asks like, how can I use a pick list in an agent because when a user enters a value, it does not matches the pick list. Will it show error?
Yeah, good question. So, a few items here. Obviously, LLMs are intelligent. So, like, if I ask to schedule an appointment in that demo org that I have, and I say I want it for Friday, and I spell Friday wrong, and then I say at like 9 o'clock a.m., but I don't use like a colon between the 9 and the two zeros, it'll understand that. It'll figure it out. There is also rich text components coming to Agentforce.
Mhm.
So very soon here, within the next month or two, you'll be able to enable that. And the great thing about that is it'll take the LLM's output, determine which rich text component is best used, and then fill the chat with whether it's a carousel, it's a pick list. The LLM will be able to determine what kind to present and then give that to the user. Last thing I'll say is currently, because that feature is not GA to all of you, maybe it just presents a list of 5 things, right? The LLM is smart at determining which one to pick. So if it has 1 through 5, and I say option 5, or I say the text that was in option 5, or I misspell it, or I just say the number 5, like it is able to understand that.
Cool. There's one more question from Sally, and she's asking that any documentation on how to deploy an agent from dev sandbox to full sandbox in productions?
Really good question. This is documentation that we need to provide you, and I'm sorry that we haven't. I know that like
It's coming.
there,
It's there.
there is stuff coming. That like one or two things that I would answer is like understand that know that we know that there are complexities. For example, like having to, if you're using an OmniFlow, you have to go deselect and reselect the agent. Like there's complexities. So we understand what those are. That the best practice I would say to you at this point is like if you have something you're happy with in production, and you're not making changes that are like extremely dangerous, agent versioning is a great way to prevent yourself from having to go back and forth between orgs. But this issue specifically is one that our leadership is very, very aware of and is making a priority.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Ali. That was a great question. And moving on to the next one, there's a question from Shubham. He asked that is it possible if we can enable AI for a few people? I'm not sure what do we mean by few people. Like, is it
Yeah,
permission related or
yeah. I think I also need more details on like what do you mean, like end
yeah?
users, internal users, so that you can provide more context. That'd be great.
I would suggest that if it's for few people, it could be something like only for a particular business group or a particular people who are using the org. Not everyone like has an access or something like that.
Yeah, so Shubham, go ahead and in the chat tell us if we're wrong here. But if the question is like I have internal users and I only want some of them to have access, the answer is yes. Let's use Service Agent as an example. If I'm working on like I want a few people to be able to manage Service Agent, then there is a perm set that comes out of the box called Agentforce Service Agent Configurator. You give them that perm set, they'll be able to work on Agentforce Service Agents. And then if you want, like, for example, you want some users to be able to chat back and forth with Agentforce, right? Formerly known as Copilot. Then there is a perm for that as well, and that's like Copilot user. And so there are perm sets that allow people to use Agentforce to monitor, to build agents, all that stuff. It's all based on perms.
Thank you. Another question is from Raghav, and he says that is it possible if we enable, uh, are there any documentation, sorry, around the AIS specifically? So I
Yeah,
think we
yeah.
have covered.
It's a great question. We really need to because it is such a new product. There aren't docs out about it yet, but I am well aware that there are docs that are like sorry, there are docs specifically about it coming out. So the like be on the lookout for that. Second thing I would mention, if you wouldn't mind popping up on our screen, Akshata, there's a link on the kind of top row of the question sheet that we're referring to here. There's a YouTube video all about what's new with Agentforce from TDX 2025. I know there are some references to that, so like watch some of those TDX demos, as
And
well
I'll,
as
I'll share the links as well in the
great.
chat. Cool. Going ahead with the next one, that's something coming from me. So, will AI assist and the setup checklist work together? Like they, it seems that they should, but like not sure.
Yeah, great question. Yes, they should. You're right, and they will. Both AI Assist and Ease of Setup were done like as scrappy as we can make them while still prioritizing customer trust. And so we got them out the door like separately as quick as we could, and then we're making a lot of improvements right now on them. One of those improvements is how do we increase the overlap. Part of that is like when you activate your agent, you're ready to go. Your AI assist should read through your agent, should read through your checklist, right? That next checklist that is updated, and it should be able to compare the two, and give you kind of like a readiness report for what remains to be done. So that's definitely coming, and then more and more the two services will speak with one another, and you'll be able to get help on some of the steps that you're working through. Maybe you have questions. So yes, definitely coming.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That helps. And Mohit has shared a few links in the chat, and that they are related to AI Assist, the ones who have asked for the documentation. So the links are here for you guys. Um, Going on to the next one, there are a few questions coming up, and there's one from San, and that's like, does agent knows the permission of the user having conversation the way agent does not execute the action and that the end user is not allowed to?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, thanks for those help links. Um, so does it understand the permission of the human speaking to it? Yes. So in this case, I assume we're talking about internal users. Maybe you have sales reps using it. Maybe you have your service reps using it. Um, I will send a help doc. Let me find that. I was looking at it yesterday. Here we go. So, oh, it's internal still. I'm sorry. There is a help doc coming out. I know it is because I read it and provided feedback. The answer is yes. What happens is there's like two layers, right? So first is, can the agent access this object? So that's the agent user. Even if we're going to check like the user talking with the agent, we still want the agent to have a user associated with it just to prevent like corruption of your data, right? So that's the first part. Second part is the user speaking to the agent. Their permissions do matter. So when the LLM runs an action, it first checks the agent user, then it checks the human user speaking to the agent. And if both have permissions to do that thing that they're requesting, then it works. So yes.
Okay, that sounds good. And I'm sorry, the screen just popped up. Yeah, we are almost there, and I think it's time for us to wrap up. But there's one question that I think we should be taking up. The one is from Likshuvam. It's just a follow up question. He did reply, suggesting that. Give me a minute. Let me scroll through the questions. I think I lost it. Yeah. So he asked us about like if we can enable AI for a few people. He did provide more information around it. Like, can it be like invoice can do by a few agents and not for all as if users, something like that.
You said invoice.
Like something like invoice can be done by a few agents and that's not for all the Salesforce users.
Oh yeah.
Since he needs
Yes.
or
Yeah,
something.
it's all based on permission sets again. So I'd work with your account team to get some help if you want help on that. All
Hmm.
based on permission sets. Quick answer to Rainier on can you use websites to feed knowledge articles into your agent? The answer is yes, coming soon, like very very soon. Right now, we allow knowledge articles and PDFs. We also, if it's not GA now, it's within the next like week or two. We'll allow you to look up to a direct URL, and so you can just link out to maybe it's a WordPress website or some other hosted website. You could link out to your help site, and it would be able to feed all that into your agent as context.
Amazing. Thank you. Well, we're almost towards the end, and thanks for answering all the questions, taking them up while I was not here as well. So thanks for covering me. And let's sum it up. So let me bring the slides. So you can connect with like if you haven't done already, let me just repeat it. Like join the Salesforce developers community where you can keep the conversation going, and there are a lot of other threads as well happening. You can get information about the everything that's basically happening in the community, the resources, the links to the events, everything that's happening. So stay tuned and join the community if you haven't done already. And with that, thank you so much for joining us. And special thanks to Corey for taking the session and being here with us and answering all the questions. And also to everyone who has been helping us in the chat section, Mohit, Brajesh, um, Katie, and everyone. Thank you so much for all your help.
Thank you, everyone. Really great to meet you all, and look forward to continuing
Looking
to
forward
your
to that.
questions in the developer community.
Absolutely. Yeah. Looking forward to many more. Cool. So
Awesome.